Shalom, 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 Israel. Shalom to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. First of all, we want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. How y'all doing today, Israel? Well, today we're going to get into the Genesis chapter 12, reading the Bible. First of all, I want to say I am Israel, a true seeker of Yahweh. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Them joker came right back out there saying, like, share, subscribe, man. I am Israel. Well, today we're going to get into Genesis chapter 12. Like I said, we moving along. We did Genesis 11. We learned more about the how the whole earth was in one language. And we learned about Shem, well, how the whole earth was in one language, and they built the city and a tower. They're trying to build a tower called Babel, try to make it up there to heaven. And then we also learned in chapter 11 about Shem and his lineage. The lineage that, not the whole lineage, but the chosen lineage that God chose to go down. Now we in chapter 12, at the end, Abram, chapter 11, remember Abram and Noah took them wives. Abraham's wife was Sarah, and Noah married his brother, daughter, Haran. And I'm trying to just hip y'all up to where we at. And Terah, Abraham, Terah, Abraham's father, he took Abram. He ain't Abraham yet. He Abram. Abram's father took, Terah took Abram, Lot, the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarah, his daughter-in-law, Abram's wife, and they went to went forth with them from They left from of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran and dwelt there. So they dwelt in Haran. And Terah, he died, he passed away. He was 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. That's Abraham's father. Now we fit pick up in chapter 12. So Terah died. Now, this is the book of Genesis. Y'all get y'all King James Version with the Apocrypha. If y'all don't have the Apocrypha, you can get it on your phone. If y'all don't have that, just get whatever Bible y'all got. And we are in the book of Genesis, chapter 12. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 12, verse 1. Now the Lord said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will shew thee. So the Most High came to visit Abram and told him to get out the country where he from, get out thy country, and from thy kindred, and get from around your kindred, and from thy father's house, get from his father's house. And he said he gonna show him a land, he gonna show him unto a land that I will shew you. So the Most High came to him and visited, told him to get up out of his country, from around his kinsmen, and he finna show him where to go to a land. Verse 2. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. So he told Abram he gonna make thee a great nation, make a great nation out of, like it's 18 nations in the world. He made a great nation out of Abram. And he said he will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And his name is great. Plenty of people came from, plenty difference of nation came from. Not all nation, but different nation. It was a couple of them. Verse 3, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. So he said he gonna bless them who bless him. He gonna curse them who curse him. And all families of the earth be blessed. They shall be blessed in thee. He say, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. So all the families of the earth shall be blessed. That if they bless him. But if they curse him, they're going to be cursed. Verse 4. So Abram departed, as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. Now, when he left, he was 75 years old. He took his nephew with him, because Lot went with him. So he listened to the Lord. See, that's what it's about. It's all about obedience through this whole thing, because that's all we have to do is obey the Father. Even the other nation, if they obey, which is not their time right now anyway, but they will learn our law to go into the other kingdom, to go into the new kingdom, the kingdom. When we take rulership, yeah, they gonna learn our law. So right now it's us teaching us. So we can't be in the new covenant. Because if we was in the new covenant, we won't have to teach our people, we'll be teaching the other nation. But he obeyed the Lord, he listened, he hearkened. The Lord he spoke to him and told him, get from your country, from your kindred. I'm finna send you to a land. I'm finna show you something. And that's the faith. In the work, what he did was got up and did the work. He moved. He did exactly what he supposed to be and did what God told him to do. He obeyed. That's all it's about, obedience. Verse 5. And Abram took Sarah, his wife, and Lot, his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. So they had to been down there for a minute. Cause he got souls, it said, and the souls he took Sarah, his wife, he got his brother, son, his nephew, and all the substance that they had gathered, and everything that they had. Meaning they cattle, they animals, with all they had with them, what they gathered where they was in Haran, with all they had, they gathered. They got all that, and it said, and the souls that they had got in Haran, and the souls that they meant. The soul, what it's saying is the body, the more people. He had more people that he had made while he was in Haran. Well, maybe about 2, because he ain't had no children yet. Him and Sarai ain't made no children yet. So I guess servants that he bought and things that his nephew had, they gather all that with that. that basically I can come up with. And it say, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. And into the land of Canaan they came. So they went into the land of Canaan. Remember, Canaan is the father of the Canaanites who come from Ham. You remember, Ham is the African. So this is an African tribe right here, the Canaan. Where it's the land, but you know, they got the Canaanites and our African people. Verse 6, and Abram passed through the land unto the place of Sichem, unto the plains of Morah, and the Canaanites was then in the land. See, and the Canaanite was in the land. Verse 7, and the Lord appeared unto Abram and said, unto thy seed will I give this land, and there build he an altar unto the Lord who appeared unto him. So the Lord appeared to Abram again and told him that unto thy seed, unto Abraham's seed, well, Abram's seed, like what he had, his children produce out his seed. But you got to remember now, it's a certain lineage, it's a certain chosen lineage that he going down. So, remember, we're going to get into it. It's saying, and so he appeared unto Abram and said unto thy seed, unto Abraham's seed, will I give this land. He talking about the land of the Canaanite. He talking about Canaan. This the land he promised Abraham. Now, this a promise that he making Abraham. Now, this promise right here that he making to Abraham, it going to go on to his son, from his son's son, from his son's sons. It just going to go down this line. Because there's a promise that he made Abraham. But we'll get to it. I don't be want to jump forward. But and he said, and there built he an altar. So he built an altar unto the Lord who appeared unto him. Verse 8, and he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west and Hai on the east. And there he built an altar unto the Lord and called upon the name of the Lord. Verse 9, and Abram journeyed going on still toward the south. So he kept going toward the south. Verse 10, and there was a famine in the land of feminine. We all know what a feminine is. Like, I don't know what is a famine is because when you get to it, let me read it first. And there, verse 10 again, and there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. So, where he had journeyed to and built altar, and he removed from this unto a mountain of the east of Bethel and pitched his tent. When he went there, Bethel on the west of Hai and on the east. He's still in the land of the Canaan. So where he had pitched on the east, and he built with the altar. So he journeyed from there because the famine was in that land. So he journeyed from there and went toward the south to dodge the famine. The famine was in the land of Bethel, where he had pitched his tent at, between the west and the east, with Hai on the east and Bethel on the west. And it said there was a famine in the land in verse 10. So he left there, and Abram went down into Egypt. So he went to Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. So verse 11 read, I wanted to get something right quick. The definition of this famine. So we all know what Either famine of food, famine of water, meaning drought, lack of food. Soon something we gonna end up having around here. You ain't gonna have no foods in the store. You're gonna be a feminine. You're gonna run a feminine in there. You're gonna run a feminine of the word too. What I'm giving y'all ain't gonna be able to get this in a minute. That's what a feminine is. We're in chapter 12, right? And we're in verse 10. Bear with me, family. Define. It's a feminine. Noun, extreme, sacrifice of food, sacrifice of food. Drought could result in famine throughout the region. So a famine is like a drought of food, drought of water, or shortage. This word I can't pronounce it. Scarcity. SCARC city. Scarcity. Scarcity. Lack. Want. Shortfall. Undersupply. I would just drought. Call out a couple of words. But that what it was, a feminine in the land, and it was very wrong. Was it? It said the feminine in the land, it was toward, and the feminine was in the land. Verse 10 again. And there was a feminine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the feminine was grievous in the land. Verse 11. And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarah, his wife, Behold now, I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon, a good-looking woman to look upon. That's what he's saying. I know thou art a good woman to look upon, a sexy, a gorgeous woman to look upon. And verse 12, therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, these the African folks, so when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, this is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive. So he telling her, now when it comes to the path, that they're going to see her, and they're going to adore her, and they're going to say, this is wife. So they're going to kill him. Remember, they ain't us. They's not from Shem, them Ham folks. Plus, they's not part of this lineage right here. So they don't, wickedness, that's what they live by. So they would kill him and take his wife. So he said, he told her, this is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive. They'll keep her. Probably the king probably take her. Verse 13, say, I pray thee, thou art my sister. So he told her to say that she his sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee. So he was telling her, Sarah, his wife, to tell him that she his sister, so they won't kill him. Verse 14, and it came to pass that when Abram was come into Egypt, the Egyptian beheld the woman, that she was very fair, like I said, looking good. The prince also of Pharaoh saw her, and commanded her before Pharaoh, and the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. So the prince saw her. The prince also of Pharaoh saw her, and he commanded her to before Pharaoh. And the woman was taken. So Sarah was taken into Pharaoh's house. Verse 16, and he entreated Abram well for her sake. So he be nice to Abram for Sarah's sake. But he don't know that this man, that's that man why he taken. So this what they did. This how you see ain't no righteousness. Ain't none of this going on. Ain't this just wickedness on the parts of the Hamite, or the parts of the Egyptian man, the African. Verse 16 continue. And he had sheep and ox, and he asses, and manservants and maidservants, and she asses, and camels. So I guess he gave him sheep, oxes, and asses. He had sheep. Abram had sheep and ox, and he asses, manservants and maidservants, and she ass and camel. Verse 17. And the Lord plead Pharaoh and his household and his house with great plagues. And the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarah, Abram's wife. So the Most High put plagues on the house because he took this man's wife. Verse 18. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Why didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife? And what Abram said, well, he keeps saying, verse 19, why saidest thou, she is my sister, so I might have taken her to me to wife? Now therefore, behold, thy wife, take her and go thy way. So Pharaoh had them plagues come upon him. The Most High put them plagues on him, on his household, and he knew something wrong. He knew that was that man's wife. Because Most High don't play. Whoever blesses Abram, he will bless. Whoever curses Abram, he will curse. Verse 20. And Pharaoh commanded his man concerning him. So Pharaoh commanded his man concerning him, and they sent him away. And they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had. So they sent him away with his wife and all that he had. But Pharaoh shouldn't have took this man's wife. And why Abram said that, because he was fear of his life, that they were going to kill him by the wife. He already knew they were going to take it. See how he took him? So if he would have said that was his wife, they were going to kill him and take his wife. So he said that was his sister. So they entreated him because of her. So they ain't killed him. They be kind to him. They be nice to him because of her. But the Most High put them plagues upon his house with plagues. He plagued the house with plagues. And Pharaoh just knew something wrong. This man's wife I done took. We're going to keep going. We're going to go on into chapter 13. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 13, verse 1. And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. So he got all his stuff, him and his wife and Lot, all that they had, and they went on journey on toward the south. They back on their journey toward the south. Verse 2. And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. So he had his share. It said he was very rich. So he had his share in cattle, in silver, and in gold. But you know the Most High gonna bless him. Because he said, I will bless thee. Back in chapter 12. When he said, I will bless them. Now, when he said, I will make a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. So he is a blessing automatically. He's going to bless him. He's going to make his name great. And that's exactly what he's doing. Everybody going to know who Abram is. Verse 3. That's why it said in verse 2, Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. Verse 3. And he went on his journey from the south even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning between Bethel and Hai. So he went on back to where the land he went back on his journey towards where the famine was. He left there because he went to Egypt. He left there because of the famine. So he went to Egypt. So he came back toward that way, heading toward the south, where his tent where his tent had been at the beginning when he first came through Bethel and Hai. Verse 4, unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first, and there Abram called on the name of the Lord. So he went back there and went back to the altar to call on the name of the Lord. I guess to call on the name of the Lord to find out what's his next move. Well, we're going to continue reading and find out what's going on. Verse 5, and Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. So Lot had flocks too. He had flocks, herds, and tents. But the land they was at, they were so, I guess it was so many of them. It was so many of them, and so they had the land where they was on couldn't hold all of them and all their substance, all their cattle, all they. Remember what it said? Abram was very rich in cattle, and he had plenty of silver and gold. So you got Lot with the same thing, had flocks of herds. That's a lot of animals, and then don't tell me how many servants he got or how many people they have. It's a lot. And how many tents there are. So, but the land can't hold all of them. They can't dwell together, like I said, and the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together. For their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. So they couldn't dwell together. So they had to split. Verse 7. And there was a strife between the herdsmen and Abram cattle, and the herdsmen of Lot cattle, and the Canaanites and the Perizzite dwell then in the land. So they got into a confrontation. Abram cattle, herdsmen of his Abram cattle, and the herdsmen of Lot cattle. They got into a strife or a confrontation or something. And at that time, the Canaanites and the Perizzite, they were dwelling in the land. So it couldn't been that much. And I promise this the land that God promised Abraham to give to his seed. So he ain't gave the land to Abraham yet. But this the land that he promised to give to his seed. Verse, where we at? Verse 8. And Abram said unto Lot, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdsmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. So he said, let there be no beef between y'all, no strife. Because we brothers, man. That's Abraham's nephew. They are kin. That's his nephew. That's his brother's son. But they brothers under the blood of Yahweh, Shai, under the Most High. And that's what he was doing, you know. Like he said, let there be no strife. He being a peacemaker. That's what he been. A peacemaker. This was Abraham, because he said, let there be no strife. Strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdsmen, for we be brethren. That's being, you trying to settle things. Let me get a precept. Matthew chapter 5, verse 9. Being a, like I said, a peacemaker. This is the book of Matthew chapter 5, verse 9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. And they shall be called the children of God. Being a peacemaker. And that's what he was. He trying to bring peace. Because we brethren, man. Why is we scruffing? Like we out here killing each other now. Why is we doing that? We brethren. Okay, I didn't came out that same woman that you came from, or that same man that you come from. But we brothers in God's eye. We are brothers. Because we are part of the 12 tribe chart. And we are brothers. That Hispanic man, that Native American man, that African American man, them brothers. Them all brothers. Verse 9. Let's continue. Is not the whole land before thee separated thyself? Wait, let's read that again, because that's a question that he asks. In verse 9 from the top. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself. So he asks him the question. Is not the whole land before thee? Or he asks him like, all this land ain't not a, you got some this way, you got some this way. Separate thyself. He said, separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. So he telling them, just being a peacemaker, just like Matthew chapter 5, verse 9 says. They're going to be called the children of God. And that's what he is. God. Abraham was a good friend to a good friend to the Most High. They were good friends. Let's continue. Verse 10. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zoar. So this before he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot lifted up his eye and beheld, he looked over there at the plains of Jordan, that it was well watered. He seen all the good water, and that's what he think. But he wasn't thinking about Sodom and Gomorrah, what's going on in there. That's over there what he looking at. But it say it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Verse 11. Then Lot chose him all the plains of Jordan. So he chose over there. And Lot journeyed east. That's east. So Lot journeyed east. And they separate themselves, the one from the other. Verse 12. Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan. So Abram dwelled in the land that God promised him, Canaan, where he promised to give to his seed. He didn't promise it to him. He said to his seed. And Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom. Now, the city of the plain, let's get that. Because the plain, I think we had did a definition on that once before. What verse that is? 12. I think we had did it define on that before. Well, I can't remember, but I'm finna find out now. Okay, it's a plain, not decorded, or elaborate, we did. Simple or ordinary in character. Good plain food because it has so many definitions. That's right. The coastline plain, a large area of flat land with few trees. So he chose the plains, a large area, and it got few trees. So he basically like in the sun, you know, because it's the plain. It's a large area. What's up? Okay, it said it's a large area of flat land with few trees. Grassland, flat land, lowland, pasture. So it's not sent up like on the hill. It's like lowland. It's down low. It's like the countryside, but only without the trees. So it's wide open plain. That's a lot of sun. Yeah, that's a lot of sun. So, but that's what he chose. That what Lot chose. He chose him all the plains of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separate themselves the one from the other. Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom. But the men of Sodom, verse 13, but the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. So they was, well, he went and pitched towards Sodom and pitched his tent towards Sodom. It would say he pitched, but the men of Sodom, he said he pitched his tent towards Sodom. Okay. The men of Sodom were very wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly, meaning they sinned it continually. What is sin? Transgressing the laws of the Lord. Whosoever sin, what's that? That's in First John. Guess what they were doing? This is the book of First John, chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever commits sin transgresses also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law. That's what sin is. That's what they were doing, transgressing God's law, which they never cared for God's law. That's what he destroyed the world for the first time, all of them. But from thenceforth on, after Noah, they just ain't care for the law. Noah was the only one. But yeah. Where were we? Verse, he said 13, but the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly, meaning exceedingly, that's all they did, wickedness, exceedingly, kept doing it. It don't matter, just sin every day, all day, every day. Same thing what's going on now, all day, every day. Can y'all see how, if you get into this and read this, you'll see just time don't do nothing but repeat itself. It don't do nothing but repeat itself. Most of this stuff, what they going through now, what we read back then from what they going through, we going through it now. It just probably a different speed, a different texture. It just repeats. Time don't do nothing but repeat itself until the end. So you just have to endure this to the end. Let's keep going. Verse 14. And the Lord said unto Abram, after that, Lot was separated from him. After Lot separated from Abram, the Lord said unto him, lift up now thy eyes and look. You see how he just, even though Lot had went with Abram, Who he dealing with? He dealing with Abram. Because that's who he told to get from the kindred. Get out of this country. Get from the kindred. And I'm going to send you to somewhere. I'm going to show you thy land. In the same land he promised, where he at now, he promised to give to Abram seed. Verse 14 again from the top. And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thy eyes, and look from the place where thou art northward and southward and eastward and westward. Verse 15. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. Okay, now he's saying for he gonna give the land to thee and to thy seed forever. At first he said to thy seed. At first he said to thy seed. It said, I don't know, the phone went to ringing. So I don't know if y'all got that. He said, and the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up thy eyes and look from the place where thou art, northward and southward and eastward and westward, for all the land which thou seest. Verse 15. Shalaki. To thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. So this land, he said he gonna give to him forever. My phone keep ringing. I don't know. I'm gonna call it back when I get done. We almost done. But he gonna give it to him and to thy seed forever. Forever. Not for a part of time, but forever. So this gonna all throughout the generation. Verse 16. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. So he said he gonna make thy seed like the dust of the earth. Meaning, like he said, if a man can number the dust, and that's a lot of dust, talking about to be numbered. So that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. This what he promised to thy seed now. What seed? The chosen seed. That what seed? It say, and I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. Verse 17, arise, walk through the land in the length of it and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee. He told him, arise, walk through all of it, the length of it, the breadth of it. So we're going to read, but I wonder, is this what Abraham just traveled? That's why he did a lot of walking around. Because God told him, see, he obeyed though. God told him to walk through the land in the length of it and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee. Verse 18, then Abram removed his tent and came and dwelt in the plains of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto the Lord. So now he went to another part, which is in Hebron, and built the altar there. So this is the second altar he built for the Lord. But he walking through the land that the Lord promised to him and his seed. We're going to do chapter 14 too. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 1. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar. Now, Araka, king of Elsar. Now, the king of Shinar, you know, Shinar is where they were building all these cities at. We called it Babylon. Ain't that what they were calling it, Babylon? That's the place where Nimrod started building cities at, remember? And Nimrod was a what? A mighty warrior. Genesis chapter okay, let's hear. Shinar, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found the plains in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. So they had a king of Shinar. But Nimrod was the first. I'm trying to. Here we go. Here you go. Okay, when Cush begot Nimrod, he began to be a mighty one in the earth. This is the book of Genesis chapter 10, verse 8. And Cush begot Nimrod, he began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. So, in the land of Shinar, these, like I said, Nimrod was the first to start building these cities. Babel is the one where he built the tower at when God went down and seen it and stopped it, cut it off, changed their language, and spread everybody out. But like I said in chapter 14, verse 1, and it came to pass in the days of Ephraim, king of Shinar, so that the king of Shinar, Arak, king of Elsar, Shedolama, king of Elam, and Tidon, king of nations. Verse 2, that these made war with Barah, king of Sodom, and with Bareshke, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, and Shimber, king of Zebon, and the king of Bela, which is Zor. So you had two sets of sides of kings. You had the king of the Shinar and Elsar, and king of Lam, and the king of Nation. And then you had the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zebah, and the king of Bela, which is Zor. You had all these kings. Now, verse 3 reads, all these were joined together in the Vale of Siddim, which is the Salt Sea. So all these were joined together. Verse 4, 12 years they served Sheldar, in the 13th year they rebelled. But ain't Shadalma, king of Elam, and it said 12 years they served Shadalma. And in the 13th year they rebelled. Verse 5, and in the 14th year came Shadalma and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rethman and Asherah, Carnan, and Zuzam, and Ham, and the Emis, and Shavah, Carthus. Verse 6, and the Horites in their Mount Seir unto El Paran, which is by the wilderness. So this king got and the king that were with him, they went and smote Raphan in Ashtaroth, Canaan, and the Zuzams in Ham. They went and smoked these. But ain't they all the same people though? He said nation against nation, and they all the same people. Verse 7, and they returned and came to Mashphet, which is Kadesh, and smote all the countries of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites, and dwelt in Hazar Tamar. These the same people, but they all African. But they came and smoked them. This is Solomon, these niggas, the king that got together, Shadalaman, in the 14th year. And they came, they ran around countries and smoking people, killing. Verse 8, and there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Adam, and the king of Zebulun, and the king of Bela. The same is Zor. And they joined battle with them in the Vale of Siddim, with Shadar the king of Elam, and with Tidon king of Nation, and Ephraim king of Shinar, and Arak king of Elsar. 4 kings with 5. So that's, it say 4 kings with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you have 5. So they all joined together. Verse 10, and the Vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. So the king of Sodom and Gomorrah, they fled to Siddim, was full of slime pit. They fled there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. Verse 11, and they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their victuals, and went their way. So they came and took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah. Verse 12, and they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. So they came in and took over Sodom and Gomorrah, took everything that was there. Verse 13, and there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Moreh, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and brother of Anar, and these were confederate with Abram. They were confederate with Abram. Verse 14, and when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, you see how he keep calling him brother? He armed his trained servants, born in his own house. He said he was going to make them like the sand of the sea. Check this out. Like the dust of the earth. He said, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. Now, he ain't even had a son yet. And he was born into his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. Verse 15, and he divided himself against them, he and his servant by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. So he attacked them by night. He divided. So 150 here and 150 there, huh? And he attacked them by night, he and his servants. And they smote them and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. Verse 16, and he brought back all the good, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his good, and the woman also, and the people. And the king of Sodom, verse 17, and the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer. So it was 4 kings against 5 kings. They ain't joined together. They were fighting against them. And the king Sodom and the king of Gomorrah, they left the other 3 kings. Wow. Y'all supposed to be fighting against 4 other kings. Verse 16, and he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his good, and the women also, and the people. Verse 17, and the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shavah, which is the king's dale. Verse 18, and Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine. Right. So, hey, this just, sorry, Salaka, but this just something that I was on last night, and they were trying to say that Melchizedek is Shem. But how can that be when Shem died 500 years before Abram was born? And if Shem is Melchizedek, well, Melchizedek just brought bread to Abram. So how that be? This ain't got nothing to do with that. This says something else I was studying on last night while I was at work. But okay, but not that's the answer right here. I was looking for this last night. I couldn't. So it's Genesis 14 and 18. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. So he brought that to Abram. I know all my questions be getting answered, man. Verse 19, and he blessed him and said, blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. So Melchizedek blessed Abram. When he brought the bread and wine, he blessed him and said, "Blessed be Abram of the Most High, God, possessor of heaven and earth." Verse 20, "And blessed be the Most High God, which had delivered thy enemies into thy hand. And he gave him tidings of all." He blessed Abram and gave him tidings. Verse 21, "And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, Give me the person and take the goods to thyself." And check out Abram. Remember, Abram already rich now. He already very rich. Verse 22, "And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a tread even to a shoelace latch, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich." So Abram told him straight up, I wouldn't take nothing. He lifted up his hand to the Lord and said he ain't gonna take nothing from him. Y'all ain't finna say y'all made me rich. I'm already very rich. I don't need none of that. I went to go get my brethren, Lot, and all his goods. That's what I went to go get. Verse 24, "Save only that which the young man have eaten." So what the young man had eaten was with him, "and the portion of the men which went with me, Anar, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them take their portion." Abraham took none because he already blessed. He's a blessing. He's a blessing to everybody around him. God said he was a blessing. He was going to bless him, and he's going to be a blessing. So whoever bless him will be blessed. Whoever curse him will be cursed. And that was the end of that. And we even did 12 through 14. That was good. Man. And it's getting gooder. It's going to get better and better, man. Especially as we moving along. But man, Abram was a very, let me see, perfect obedience. He was good. That's a footstep we can follow, like the Messiah. Yep. So man, boy, I all praise that the Most High gave us this chance to read them 3 chapters and get a good understanding of it, you know. But like I said, I am Israel, a true seeker of Yahweh. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. You know, and we're going to end it. Let me give you a Leviticus 19. I'm going to give you this right here, this commandment right here. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17. "Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him." That's a commandment. So we can't be out there hating our brothers. Like the Messiah said, if you thought of it, you already sinned it. You know? So we have to love each other. Like I said, I'm going to do one on that love. What is love? According to the Bible. I am going to get to it. But I just want to thank y'all and give a shout out to the 12 tribe that scattered abroad. And we'll give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach. And man, boy, y'all have a great rest of the day. And, stay prayed up and stay reading your word, man. I am Israel, a true seeker of Yahweh. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. With that being said, y'all have a blessed day. Kwame Yasharala.